any standards anywhere in the world.
C'est une vie vraiment extraordinaire. Partout dans le monde, vous pouvez le comparer partout, mais c'est vraiment une vie extraordinaire.
I'm pleased to be joined today by my wife, Dr. Fazala Shahabuddin, a scientist and a conservation biologist.
Je suis contente que ma femme, Dr. Ghazala Shahabuddin, une biologiste et conservationniste, est également ici.
And to all of you, a very warm welcome, because all of you are here because you are part of her journey through life, and especially here in France. So your presence here this evening to celebrate her life is very special to her. So each of you has made this evening even more special.
Vous êtes tous ici parce que vous faites partie de la voyage de sa vie et vous êtes tous très spéciaux et vous avez rendu ce soir encore plus spécial. Merci d'être venus et vous êtes les bienvenus.
So thank you for coming. And if you go back to a life that began when India was not free, it was a country that was still struggling for independence. And a life that was formed at that, her worldview was formed in that epic struggle for India's freedom that was driven by resilience, by idealism, and by a spirit of can-do.
On va parler d'une époque quand l'Inde n'était pas libérée. Nous étions à cette époque-là colonisés. Et c'était à cette époque qu'elle a formé sa perspective de la vie, du monde. Et c'était une époque caractérisée par l'idéalisme et l'esprit de pouvoir faire.
And imagine in early 1950s, when it was difficult to leave Paris or to go some distance to study, she left India to go to Los Angeles. It's not easy for a young woman anywhere in the world to go across 3 oceans and land up in a different country 12 time zones away to study when we didn't have internet and phones.
Dans les années 50, quand c'était difficile même d'aller dans une autre ville, elle a quitté l'Inde pour aller à Los Angeles pour étudier. Puis, elle a traversé 3 océans pour arriver dans un pays très très loin et toute seule. Donc, c'est vraiment merveilleux.
So it has to be someone who is willing to break the boundaries, to cross the barriers, and to leave behind the constraints of traditions, of society, of the values that are prevailing at that point of time, to follow her destiny, to follow her dreams.
Donc évidemment, ça doit être quelqu'un qui n'avait pas hésitation de briser les valeurs de la société, de va à l'encontre de toutes les barrières, de les franchir pour suivre ses rêves, son destin.
So a journalist, an officer at the communications expert at the United Nations, and a journalist, of course, with New York Times, no less, in the late 1950s, stints at the United Nations in New York, at the International Atomic Energy Agency in Vienna, and that most beautiful experience of hers, 1 year not far from here in UNESCO in Paris. And that was a life-changing year for her.
Elle a travaillé comme journaliste dans le New York Times, c'était dans les années 50, et puis elle était fonctionnaire aux Nations Unies. Elle a également travaillé dans l'agence de l'énergie nucléaire à Vienne, et puis à UNESCO à Paris. Et ce moment-là était vraiment bouleversant dans sa vie.
But I think she was born to live in Paris. And because I think Paris is where she found a place where her spirit could find a common space for it to express itself.
Mais je pense qu'elle était née pour vivre à Paris parce que c'était ici qu'elle a trouvé vraiment un endroit où elle peut s'exprimer son esprit.
So Paris embraced her and she embraced Paris, and the rest is history. Tonight, we see so many of you in her creations. But what is interesting is that a person who was doing PhD at Berkeley, who wrote for New York Times, who worked for the United Nations, then ventured into textiles, into fashion. And I think she brought that same spirit that defined her life, that spirit of exploring, of freedom, of creativity to this wonderful world of textiles and fashion. And where could it be better than in the city of Paris? Many ways she introduced India and the colors, the designs, the beauty, the weaves, the patterns of India to the people of France when there was much less connection between the two countries.
Elle est arrivée à Paris, Paris l'a pris dans ses bras, et puis le reste, c'est de l'histoire. Et quelqu'un qui a fait son doctorat à Berkeley, elle a travaillé à New York Times et aux Nations Unies, elle est entrée dans le monde de la mode, les textiles, les tissus, et puis elle a apporté avec elle le même esprit d'exploration, de liberté, de créativité. Et je pense que le meilleur endroit pour le faire, c'est Paris. Et elle a vraiment introduit les motifs, les couleurs, les dessins, les tissus indiens à Paris.
I think two countries, India and France, love fashion, love style, love their food, love cuisine, love all the good things in life. And they celebrate life in every day. And she is the biggest symbol of that celebration of life that brings India and France together. You've been a wonderful bridge for more than 6 decades now between India and France, bringing the finest of India to France and expressing it in the most beautiful Parisian way. So tonight we feel India is Paris, Paris is India, when with your creations and your presence today.
L'Inde et la France, ils aiment tous les deux la mode, le style, la cuisine, la nourriture, toutes les bonnes choses de la vie. Et elle est vraiment un symbole de cette célébration de la vie. Et elle a en fait fait un pont entre ces deux cultures diverses. Et donc, j'aimerais dire que grâce à elle, l'Inde est Paris et Paris est l'Inde.
So today we celebrate your journey, your life, your creations, together with people who matter to you, to celebrate what you have achieved, what you have brought together. But I'd like to also say this, that you have done a great work for the weavers of India. Imagine many of you are wearing creations that belong to the villages of India, and they now find expression in Paris, a global city, thanks to her efforts, her ability to go see the beauty in those villages, the skill, the art, and bring them into the fashion world of France. It is about, today, she works with Khadi, that great Indian textile, made by hand, the symbol of our freedom struggle. That's Mahatma Gandhi, the symbol of ethics today, the symbol of livelihood for workers, the symbol of sustainability today, because it is the most sustainable fabric that you can ever have. We talk of green world. So Khadi was the symbol of freedom. It was a symbol of the highest principles of life. It is a symbol of sustainability. It is a symbol of ethics, because it is about livelihood of the poorest people. And you've given expression to that here in Paris like nobody has. And when India celebrates 75 years today, we are celebrating the freedom of all of us, freedom of expression. And no nation is free without the freedom of women, without the freedom and the equality of women of all sections of society. And you capture that desire of freedom for all women and all people, not just in India, but all over France, in the world. And so we greatly celebrate your life as a symbol of our journey in 75 years. Sorry. Try that.
En tout cas, je pense que vous avez tout compris. Nous sommes ici pour fêter sa vie, le voyage de sa vie, sa créativité, ses produits. Et elle a fait un grand travail pour les artisans des villages indiens parce qu'elle a trouvé ces personnes et elle a pu reconnaître leur art, leurs compétences, sa beauté, et elle a fait exprimer tout cela à Paris. Donc c'est vraiment incroyable. Elle a travaillé avec le tissu khadi, qui est fait à la main, et c'est vraiment un symbole de la liberté, et également c'est un tissu durable. Donc il y a un lien entre ce tissu khadi et la lutte pour l'indépendance, Monsieur Gandhi, comme vous savez. Donc ça concerne la vie des gens, en particulier dans les régions rurales. Et aujourd'hui, je suis très contente qu'on va fêter cela après 75 années de l'indépendance de l'Inde. Et tout cela a trouvé expression ici, dans le mode, à Paris. Et je pense qu'elle représente ce désir pour la liberté, et on va fêter ça ensemble.
So thank you very much, and I'd say this, that today India and France are two very strong global partners, every field. We have trust, we have transparency, we have belief in each other, and when you look at the world, when France looks at the world, India, especially in the Indo-Pacific, is a strong partner. When India looks at the world, France is one of its most important partners in every area. But nothing matters more than people-to-people ties. When hearts meet, when our spirits come together, there is infinite possibilities of what we can do. You have played a great role in bringing the people of India, the people of France together. So this is a relationship that goes back centuries. In the discovery of the French of India and of India in France. But in more modern times, we've become strategic partners. But all this is there because people like you are windows to the possibilities that exist between our two great countries. So today is a celebration of all that you represent, of our partnership, of India's freedom, of India's empowerment to women, of our spirit of creativity. And so thank you very much. We are delighted to have all of you. I'm very pleased and honored to have the mayor here with us, and to all of you who look exquisite in many of her creations, and for the warmth of your friendship for her, for I know you're all very important part of her life. She's still young, spirited, and strong, and got many, many years to give to us. So thank you very much, all of you.